One can't legislate the hearts of man. You can't legislate the opinions of man. Racism in America, unfortunately, it's something that I think will always be there.
Racism is there, staring you in the face, and I am not sure if there's any way around it or out of it or anything that will fix it. And this is the reason why we left.
Been in Uganda for about 2 years off and on. Now this year I've decided to stay permanently. So I chose to be here because the cost of living is much more maintainable, and I don't feel like I'm in danger anymore. Like there's other things that I have to be worried about, but I don't feel like a target. I don't feel like someone wants to take my life or wants to control my life just because of my color.
We are in Dar es Salaam, Tanzania, and we've been here for about 5 months. When we came here, the ultimate decision-making aspect was seeing how happy the children were here and how easily they made friends. And that was such a relief to me, and I was so happy. And we decided to stay. We just fell in love with Tanzania. We just wanted to feel somewhere where we felt at home.
I'm joined by diaspora repatriate Mr. Brian Wheeler.
I've been in Africa for a little over 11 years now. I've always felt that Africa was and is home. I've always felt that I'm an African, although an African in the diaspora. It was a natural feeling. Once I landed on the continent, I felt so at home, I felt at ease, and I felt at peace. It was a natural emotion to want to move to Africa.
Life here in Uganda is much more manageable than life was in America. In America, I constantly felt on pressure. I constantly felt stressed because I always have to make ends meet. I wouldn't even be able to enjoy my paycheck. Oftentimes, I wouldn't even get days off because I'm constantly working and I'm constantly trying to prove my worth in a country that has basically made my people look like we are worthless.
The biggest difference is, for me, is peace of mind. I just have a peace of mind. I believe my family and my children have a peace of mind on the continent that potentially they may have not had in America.
Life here is much more relaxed and laid back. Honestly, everywhere I've been on the continent so far, I feel much more safe here than I ever felt in the United States.
Alright, so this is plane number 1, going to Doha. Then from Qatar, Doha, Qatar, I'll be in Entebbe.
When I was young, I didn't really know a whole lot about Africa. I was very ignorant to how Africa was. But as I got older, I started to want to move here more and more until I actually made it happen.
Marcus Garvey taught us that Africa is for those at home and those abroad. America was founded on the backs of enslaved Africans. So racism in America is as American as apple pie. I have not experienced racism in Africa, but I have experienced some prejudice and some stereotypes in Africa.
I grew up in a predominantly white suburb outside of Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania. In my opinion, Pittsburgh in general is extremely racist. Because we grew up where we grew up, I've dealt with it from when I was young until I left and went to college. You know, I've been called the N-word from elementary school. I mean, I've gotten into confrontations with other kids, and it's something that honestly, I would be here all day if I was telling you all the experiences that I had with racism in the United States. Really, from being followed in stores, to being pulled over by police for no reason, to, you know, being talked down to because those microaggressions are important, and you know, generally speaking, we do recognize them when it happens. To not being offered jobs, to, you know, I mean, I could just, I'll be here all the day, you know, explaining to you on a daily basis what it is like to be black in America.
I remember very clearly the first year we lived in Oman. We had this little compact car, and we were just, taking these little road trips and driving. And I had this moment of like, I wonder if this is what white people feel like in America. Like the whole road is yours, the whole land is yours. You don't have to fear for your safety or feel like, oh no, I might end up in a racist part of town.
I honestly don't know if it'll ever be dealt with appropriately, in my opinion. And this is the reason why we left.
All my black brothers who don't deserve to die by a gun.
Pakistan won't want to stand.
No justice, no peace. No justice, no peace.
Somebody needs to stand up. More nations need to stand up. Back up, back up, back up, back up.
I was just pulled over really quickly back there on the way out of my part of town. And, they do that sometimes just to check your license and what have you. And the interaction that I had with this police officer, I don't think he's ever pulled me over before. And he was so nice. He asked me where I was going. He said, "Are you okay? Is everything all right?" He didn't even take my license. And he was joking with me a little bit, and that's it. And he just kind of sent me on my way. And, after that, I got a little emotional because I just started thinking about, like, how different that experience would have been in the United States. Because even if you don't die or you don't get completely violated by the police officers in the United States, it's still not a good interaction when it comes to us.
Fortunately, the only interactions I did have with the police were basically traffic stops. But even traffic stops oftentimes are extremely stressful.
The difference between policing here in Uganda and America is drastic. I mean, here in Uganda, police have their own way of doing things, but they don't target people specifically that I know of just to harass you or to take your life or whatever the case may be. I mean, there are some situations that are questionable here, but for the most part, you're not being targeted just because of your color or your race or your nationality.
Well, I'm very comfortable raising my children in Africa. My children adapted well. They've integrated completely in society, and they are fortunate to live in a country where they're judged by the content of their character and not the color of their skin. This, in my opinion, is one of the biggest blessings of them living on the continent.
Raising my family here brings me a sense of relief that I know my children will be safe. I know that they'll make friends much more easily, and I know that they'll actually have a chance to be children. I feel like in the United States, children have to grow up especially black children, have to grow up so fast because they have to learn that they can't really fully be themselves. I want them to be free to be themselves. And here they can do that. And I don't have to fight to do that. I can do it easily and effortlessly.
If I have a choice in the matter, no, I would not move back there. There are 54 different countries in Africa. I think it's 55 actually. So I can choose a different country if need be, but there is no reason for me to have to go back to America to face what I have dealt with my entire life.
I have family still in America, so I anticipate going back, of course, to visit my family, but I don't anticipate ever moving back to America because I really feel at home where I am.
My final thoughts about living here in Uganda is that there's no problem or no struggle that people here can't overcome. So if we all just work together and each one teach one and we all help each other out, I believe that we can build a much better community with Africans who are coming from abroad and Africans who are here on the continent.
Africa, I look at holistically. I see all of Africa as my home.
America is not in reality the way it has been presented to most of the world. And now I think most of the world is beginning to see that. If you're from the continent and you want to go to America, I feel like you should probably rethink that and think about rebuilding what you have here, because what you have here is so much more beautiful and magnificent than what you could ever find somewhere else. I've been to so many different parts of this world, and there is nothing like Africa.